Welcome back to LC Coins World, the place where every coin tells a story and every story reveals a piece of our shared history. Today we're exploring a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance, but holds extraordinary significance in the story of American coinage, the 1978 Lincoln penny, a coin that circulated in the hands of millions and silently witnessed the heartbeat of a nation in transition from pocket change to collector's item. This little copper coin carries more than just monetary value. It's a snapshot of America in the late 1970s. The 1978 Lincoln penny was the last of its kind to be minted entirely in copper. Before, the U.S. Mint made a historic change to a copper-plated zinc composition. In 1982, for decades, the Lincoln penny remained a cornerstone of American currency, not only because of its practical use, but because of what it represented. Designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, to honor the centennial of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln cent marked the first time a real person appeared on regular U.S. coinage. The decision was both cultural and symbolic. Lincoln had come to embody unity, sacrifice, and leadership in American memory, and placing his image on a coin meant putting those values into the hands of everyday citizens. By the time 1978 came around, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for nearly 70 years. Yet this particular year marked the end of an era in terms of metal content. The 1978 penny was minted with a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it a rich weight and a distinctive reddish hue. Over time, environmental and economic pressures, including the rising cost of copper, forced the U.S. Mint to explore more cost-effective materials, even though that change wouldn't occur until 1982. The 1978 coin stands as one of the last chapters of the traditional copper penny story. In terms of mintage, over 5 billion Lincoln pennies were produced in 1978, split between two mint locations: the Philadelphia Mint, which issued coins with no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, which used the D Mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint produced approximately 5.55 billion coins, while Denver contributed over 4.28 billion. The San Francisco Mint also issued proof versions for collectors bearing the S Mint mark. These proof coins were struck using specially prepared dies and planchets, resulting in a mirror-like finish and sharper detail. The reverse of the 1978 Lincoln penny featured the Lincoln Memorial, which had been introduced in 1959, replacing the previous wheat ears design created by Brenner. This reverse design was the work of Frank Gasparo, who was then chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. The image not only paid tribute to the president, but if observed closely, it also depicted a tiny image of the seated Lincoln statue visible between the columns, a small but historically rich artistic detail often overlooked. 1978 was a year of subtle transformation in the United States, and the Lincoln penny reflects that society was shifting economically and culturally. Inflation was creeping into the everyday American experience. The average income hovered around $10,000 a year. Gas was less than $1 a gallon, and a penny still carried meaning. People saved them, collected them, and children were taught to count with them. Yet change was on the horizon, both in coinage and in the American way of life. For collectors, the 1978 Lincoln penny holds multiple areas of interest, though not classified as rare in circulated condition. And circulated examples, and especially high-grade proof coins, continue to draw attention. Coins graded Ms. 65 or higher by PCGs or NGC often command premium values in the numismatic market, particularly those with strong strikes, red color designation, and minimal contact marks. While most 1978 pennies remain affordable, certain error coins are especially sought after, including double die obverses, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and coins struck on the wrong planchet. These errors tell their own stories about the minting process and are treasured by collectors for their uniqueness. The legacy of the Lincoln penny also comes into focus when we look at how the coin has been used in art, education, and memory for many Americans. Lincoln cents were their first introduction to coin collecting, handed down by parents or grandparents, sorted by date and mint mark, kept in blue Whitman folders or glass jars. The 1978 edition exists within that broader emotional and historical narrative. It reminds us of a time before the digital age when money was held and examined, not swiped or tapped. The Lincoln penny remains the longest-running coin design in American history. The obverse design has remained largely unchanged since its debut in 1909, making it a powerful symbol of national identity. The 1978 coin especially represents the bridge between the past and future. It stood at the crossroads of economic change, material innovation, and nostalgic reflection on a simpler time, when a single cent could still buy something meaningful. Today, if you find a 1978 penny in your pocket or tucked away in a jar, you're holding more than a coin. You're holding a fragment of a larger story, one that includes the rise and fall of industries, the shifting tides of presidential administrations, the evolution of art and design in American minting, and the enduring power of a president's legacy cast in copper. The value of the 1978 penny may not lie in its price, but in its purpose, in its presence in our lives then and now. As you look closer at this humble coin with Lincoln's steady gaze and the memorial behind him, remember what it stands for: history, memory, and the small, everyday moments that define us all. In this sense, the 1978 Lincoln penny is not just a relic of the past. It's a reminder that even the smallest things can carry the greatest meaning. Where we explore the timeless stories behind the coins we once carried in our pockets or found hidden in an old drawer. Today, we journey deep into the past to uncover the history, the production, and the true collectible value of one of the most widely circulated and historically rich coins in American numismatics. The 1961 Lincoln penny, a small copper coin with a big story that spans generations, economies, and American identity. Let us begin our journey by setting the stage for 1961, a year of transition, optimism, and progress in the United States. John F. Kennedy had just taken office as the 35th President of the United States, bringing with him a new spirit of hope and energy. The Cold War was heating up, the civil rights movement was gaining momentum, and space exploration was about to become a national priority. In this environment, the United States Mint continued its operations with precision and dedication, supplying coins to keep pace with the growing economy and public demand. The Lincoln cent, which had first been introduced in 1909, remained the most commonly used denomination. By 1961, it had already been in circulation for over 5 decades, featuring the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. The design was introduced to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday and was the first time a real person had been featured on a regular issue. American coin, the reverse of the Lincoln penny, which from 1959 onward displayed the Lincoln Memorial, replaced the original wheat ears design of the early years. The 1961 Lincoln penny specifically refers to the 1-cent coin, struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D mint mark beneath the date on the obverse side. The Denver Mint was one of the primary production facilities of the United States Mint system, located in Colorado. The Denver Mint has long been known for its high volume and high-quality coin production. In 1961, it struck over 1.7 billion Lincoln cents, making this particular coin extremely common in its time, though not without its own share of intrigue and value for collectors today. The 1961 Lincoln penny was composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which was the standard composition for pennies from 1909 until 1962. The weight of each coin was 3.11 grams. With a diameter of 19 millimeters, the coins were struck using high-pressure minting machines that ensured consistency and detail in the relief of Lincoln's profile. And the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side. The inscriptions included, "In God, we trust liberty," and the date on the obverse, along with United States of America. e pluribus, unum, and 1 cent on the reverse. Now, let us delve into the historical and economic context in which this coin circulated during the early 1960s. America was undergoing technological advancement, social change, and economic expansion. The economy was strong, unemployment was relatively low, and middle class America was growing. This meant that cash was king, and physical currency, including coins like the Lincoln cent, played an essential role in daily life. The 1961 penny was used for everything from purchasing candy and newspapers to making change at gas stations, diners, and movie theaters. It passed through countless hands and told millions of stories with every exchange. But what makes the 1961 Lincoln penny special from a collector's perspective is not just its circulation numbers, but also the unique varieties, errors, and conditions that have emerged over the decades. Some 1961 pennies were struck with repunched mint marks, a common error during the era when mint marks were hand-punched into dies. Collectors often look for these varieties as they can increase a coin's value significantly, especially in higher grades. Additionally, some examples have been discovered with doubled dies or other minor striking anomalies, adding yet another layer of appeal to an already historic coin. Let us now talk about grading. The condition of a 1961 Lincoln penny can greatly affect its market value. Coins are typically graded on the Sheldon scale, ranging from poor, which is a grade of 1, to mint state 70 or Ms. 70, a perfect coin with no flaws at all. While circulated 1961 pennies are still worth only face value or slightly above uncirculated examples, especially in grades Ms. 65 and above, can command higher prices in the collector market in red condition, meaning the original copper luster is still present without much toning. Some examples have sold for more than $20 or higher, depending on demand and rarity. For many collectors, the appeal of the 1961 penny also lies in its place within the larger Lincoln cent series. It serves as a link between two eras: the classic copper composition that would soon be phased out, and the transitional years that followed in the 1960s and 1972, when economic pressures forced changes to coinage materials and production methods. By 1962, the United States Mint eliminated the tin from the penny composition, creating a copper-zinc blend that would eventually give way to the modern copper-plated zinc penny, introduced in 1982. As the video continues, we explore in greater detail the mintage figures of the 1961 penny, comparing them with other years and other mints. We analyze the impact of hoarding on coin circulation. We take a closer look at error varieties such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and lamination errors. We walk through the process of submitting coins for professional grading and how to interpret population reports from grading services such as PCGs and NGC, where we journey through history one coin at a time. Today, we dive deep into a small copper piece that many Americans carried without ever realizing its historical depth. The 1977 Lincoln penny is more than just a cent. It is a symbol of a transforming America, a reflection of changing times in industry, politics, and society itself. If you are someone who remembers the 70s vividly, or even if you are a new collector curious about the value and history of your coins, this video is your complete guide. The 1977 Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary facilities responsible for producing coinage for circulation in the United States. This particular year in American history was one of transition. The Vietnam War had ended. The country was healing from Watergate, and a new president, Jimmy Carter, had just entered office amid a wave of hope and economic concern. The penny itself continued the beloved design by Victor David Brenner, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. It was the first US coin to feature a real person's portrait, and over the years, it became iconic, recognized across the country in pockets, purses, and coin jars everywhere. By 1977, This design had been in use for nearly 70 years, making the Lincoln cent one of the longest-running coin types in American history. The obverse of the 1977 D penny features the classic side profile of Abraham Lincoln with the inscription, "In God We Trust," across the top, Liberty to the left, and the date, 1977. With the D mint mark just beneath it to the right, the D indicates that this coin was produced in Denver, Colorado, a mint known for high volume and consistency. The reverse of the coin features the Lincoln Memorial design that had been introduced in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. This version replaced the original wheat ears design and was sculpted by Frank Gasparo, then the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. Look closely, and you can even see a tiny image of the statue of Lincoln inside the memorial columns. In terms of composition, the 1977 D penny was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This was one of the last years before the U.S. Mint shifted to a copper-plated zinc planchet in 1982. Due to rising copper costs, the weight of the coin is 3.11 grams with a diameter of 19 millimeters and a plain edge. Collectors often note that copper coins like this tend to develop attractive toning over time, making them visually unique, especially in uncirculated condition. When it comes to mintage, the Denver Mint produced over 4.2 billion of these coins in 1977, making it extremely common in circulation. However, condition, rarity, and errors are what separate a regular penny from a collectible one. Coins in high mint state grades, especially MS65 or higher, can fetch much more than face value, particularly if they have a red designation, meaning the original mint luster is preserved. When it comes to mintage, the Denver Mint produced over 4.2 billion of these coins in 1977, making it extremely common in circulation. However, condition, rarity, and errors are what separate a regular penny from a collectible one. Coins in high mint state grades, especially MS65 or higher, can fetch much more than face value, particularly if they have a red designation, meaning the original mint luster is preserved. Some known errors and varieties from 1977 include double die obverses, off-center strikes, and by errors where a die chip between the letters B and E in Liberty creates the illusion of a third letter. These kinds of minting anomalies can increase a coin's value significantly, especially if the coin is in excellent condition. In terms of cultural significance, this penny is a nostalgic relic for millions of Americans who grew up in the 70s. It connects to memories of buying candy for a few cents, saving up coins for toys, or simply tossing pennies into fountains and wishing for something magical. For collectors, the 1977 D penny represents a bridge between two monetary eras and serves as a reminder of when copper still dominated small change. Additionally, this coin is a valuable tool for teaching young collectors about coin grading, mint marks, and the importance of preservation. Coins from this era are still easy to find in circulation and bankrolls, making them a great starting point for beginners who want to build a Lincoln cent collection from 1959 to 2008. Investors may not consider the 1977 D penny rare, but savvy numismatists know that full red uncirculated examples, especially those with strong strikes and free from blemishes, are highly desirable in PCGs and NGC certified holders. A perfect MS67 example can sell for upward of $50 to $100, depending on market demand. Even more interesting is the fact that these pennies are now worth more than face value in copper content alone due to their 95% copper makeup. They have a melt value exceeding 1 cent. Though it is currently illegal to melt pennies for their metal, this fact adds an extra layer of interest and debate among collectors and economists. To truly appreciate the 1977 D Lincoln penny is to appreciate a moment in time when coins were still minted with heavier metals, when design changes were rare and deliberate, and when a single penny still had the power to buy something small but meaningful. This coin tells a story of America's resilience, its ongoing evolution, and its connection to traditions that continue even today. So whether you are holding onto one as a memory from your childhood or looking at it through a magnifying glass for varieties, the 1977 penny deserves a place in every coin collection. It is affordable, educational, historically rich, and easily one of the best examples of why numismatics matters. Where every coin tells a story. Today, we turn our attention to a coin that may seem common, but carries with it the weight of decades of American history and cultural transformation. The 1975 Lincoln penny. This tiny copper-colored cent is more than just pocket change. It's a living witness to the era in which it was minted. It's a symbol of continuity, it's a piece of art, and it's a gateway into the world of American numismatics. As we dive into the world of the 1985 Lincoln cent, we're not just exploring its metal content or design. We're unlocking a chapter in American life that was marked by both rapid change and enduring traditions. The Lincoln Cent series began in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, the nation's 16th president and one of its most iconic figures. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin introduced a new era in American coinage. It was the first time a real person appeared on a circulating US coin. The design choice was groundbreaking and signaled a shift in how American heroes would be honored on currency. The reverse originally displayed two wheat ears symbolizing prosperity and was commonly referred to as the wheat penny. But in 1959, to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the reverse design was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial, a bold and intricate design by Frank Gasparo that remained until 2008. This is the design featured on the 1975 penny, which places it squarely within the Lincoln Memorial series, a segment of American coinage with a production run of almost 50 years. In 1975, the United States was deep into the Reagan era. The Cold War continued to shape foreign policy. The economy was rebounding from a tough recession, and the American cultural landscape was evolving rapidly. The music scene was booming with MTV dominating youth culture. Technology was beginning to make its mark, and personal computers were just starting to enter homes amidst all this. The US Mint continued its duty of producing billions of coins to meet national demand. In that year, the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint were all active, but it's the Philadelphia and Denver Mints that produced the business strike. 1975 Lincoln cents you'll typically find in circulation. The San Francisco Mint produced proof versions, meant for collectors and not daily transactions. The 1975 Lincoln penny was minted using copper-plated zinc, which had become the standard composition since mid-1982. Prior to that year, the Lincoln cents were composed mostly of copper, but due to rising metal prices, the mint shifted to a core of zinc with a thin copper coating. The change was practical, economical, and remains in use today. This means that while your 1975 penny may look like older pennies, its weight and composition tell a different story. The coin weighs 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters with a plain edge and a shiny copper-like appearance. The obverse shows Abraham Lincoln's right-facing profile, the word liberty to the left, and the date 1975 to the right. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial surrounded by the words United States of America and E pluribus unum, with the denomination 1 cent beneath. What makes the 1975 penny special isn't rarity in the traditional sense. In fact, over 10 billion Lincoln cents were produced that year across all mints, making it one of the most abundant coins in American history. But what makes it fascinating is its role as a transitional coin bridging the past and future of American small change. While it is common, many coin collectors look to the 1975 issue to complete typesets and to study the quality of minting during the 1980s, which had seen both innovations and challenges in production methods. Some examples of the 1975 penny can be found in higher grades. such as mint state 65 or better, especially from original bankrolls, or mint sets, and these can command a premium over face value. Some error coins have also been discovered from this year, including off-center strikes, die cracks, double dies, and plating blisters. These mint errors give the 1975 penny collector value and make the hunt for specific examples all the more exciting. Moreover, the 1975 Lincoln penny sits at a crossroads in cultural memory. It's a coin that many Americans remember handling during childhood, during school lunches and vending machines. During holiday shopping, it circulated during a decade of huge national and global transformation. A coin may be small, but it touches many hands over its life. It pays for groceries. It's given as change, it's found in couch cushions, it's tossed in fountains, it is saved by children starting their very first coin collection. By examining a 1975 penny closely, we see more than a coin. We see a design that has endured for decades. We see the legacy of Lincoln in metal form. We see the craftsmanship of mint engravers and the subtle shifts in production technology. We see the economic decisions that led to a change in metal composition and how global events like inflation and metal prices affected even our smallest denomination. The coin becomes a mirror of the times, a tiny piece of art with a big story. So if you have a 1975 Lincoln penny sitting in a drawer, in a jar, or even in your wallet, take a moment to look at it, not just for its condition or value, but for the history it carries. It is not just a cent, it is a chapter of American life pressed into copper and zinc. It is the kind of coin that deserves not just to be spent, but to be remembered, preserved, and appreciated. And here on, we are all about rediscovering that value, one coin at a time.
Today we are going to take a deep and detailed look at one of the more intriguing coins in the modern Lincoln cent series, the 1971 Lincoln penny. This video will explore the full historical background of this coin, how it was made, why it matters, and why collectors and historians continue to find it important to this day. The 1971 Lincoln penny is more than just a cent. It is a piece of American history that reflects the minting technology, economic conditions, and national identity of its time. Let us begin with the basic background. The 1971 Lincoln cent belongs to the long-running Lincoln penny series, which started in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin features a right-facing profile of Lincoln. It was the first time in American history that a real person appeared on a regular issue coin. The original reverse featured two wheat stalks, and this was changed in 1959 to show the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparo in honor of Lincoln's 150th birthday. By 1971, the Lincoln cent had been circulating for over 60 years, but changes were constantly being made in how the coins were struck. The 1971 penny was struck at the San Francisco Mint, and it was issued primarily as a proof coin for collectors, although some business strikes also exist. The mint mark can be found below the date on the obverse of the coin. The coin was struck on plankets composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This was still before the major composition change that occurred in 1982, when the mint shifted to a predominantly zinc composition. What makes the 1971 penny particularly interesting to numismatists is its association with proof coinage. Proof coins are specially struck using polished dies and plankets, and are intended for collectors. They are not released into circulation, and they are struck multiple times to ensure sharp detail and mirror-like finish. There were over 3 million proof sets produced by the San Francisco Mint in 1971, and the Lincoln cent was part of each one. These proof coins are often sought after for their beauty and detail, but they are also important indicators of minting technology and quality control during that era. In addition to the proof coins, the 1971 Lincoln penny is also known for some striking varieties. One of the most famous is the 1971 double die obverse. This era variety shows clear doubling on the inscriptions, particularly noticeable in the words, "Liberty in God, We Trust," and the date. Coins that display strong doubling are extremely rare and have been highly sought after by collectors since their discovery. They can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the strength of the doubling and the condition of the coin. To understand why these doubling errors occur, we need to look at how dies are made. A die is a metal stamp used to impress a design onto a coin during the process of hubbing, which transfers the coin design from a master hub to a working die. Slight misalignments can result in doubled images. These errors were more common during the 1950s through the 1970s due to the minting equipment and processes used during that time. In the case of the 1971 double die obverse, it is one of the strongest and most dramatic examples of doubling in the Lincoln series. In terms of value, the 1971 Lincoln penny is quite accessible to new collectors in its standard proof form. It is not a rare coin, but examples with a perfect mirror finish, deep cameo contrast, and no blemishes can still demand premium prices from grading services like PCGS and NGCAPR 690 CAM. 1971 penny is highly desirable, but relatively affordable when compared to other coins of similar grade. However, once you introduce doubling or other rare errors, the value can increase dramatically. Collectors of Lincoln cents often seek to complete full sets with each date and mint mark combination. The 1971 penny holds a special place in that lineup because of its proof status, its era potential, and its excellent quality relative to other years. Building a complete Lincoln cent set from 1909 to the present day is a major goal for many hobbyists, and every mint-proof coin is an essential part of that project. The 1971 penny also provides a good example of the quality difference between proof coins and regular business strikes, which is an important distinction in coin collecting education. Looking more broadly, the 1971 Lincoln penny is a reflection of the times it was minted during, an era when the United States was transitioning socially, politically, and economically. The Vietnam War, the Cold War, inflation, and changes in manufacturing all influenced the way the U.S. Mint operated during the early 70s. Coin production was shifting to keep up with demand while reducing costs and maintaining quality. Collectors today study these coins not just as objects but as historical documents that provide insight into a changing nation. We can also explore how the San Francisco Mint functioned in 1971. Unlike its earlier role in producing circulating coinage, by this time it had become primarily a facility for proof coinage. Its equipment and procedures were different from those used at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, allowing it to produce highly detailed and beautiful coins. The 1971 penny is a great example of this transition and helps us understand the role of different mint facilities in the broader U.S. coinage system. Throughout this video, we will also discuss how to identify a genuine 1971 double die penny. By the end of this 2-hour journey, you will have a deep appreciation for the artistry, history, and technical complexity of the 1971 Lincoln penny. Whether you are a beginner curious about coin collecting or an experienced numismatist looking to enhance your knowledge, this video will offer valuable insights that connect a small.
We also hear from veteran collectors who share their experiences of finding 1961 Lincoln pennies in change rolls in old family collections, and even in mint-sealed bags from estate sales. we dive into auction histories, looking at how some examples of the 1961 penny have performed at major auction houses across the country. We visit coin shows and speak with dealers about the current demand for early 1960s Lincoln cents and how market interest has evolved over time. In the second half of this 2-hour journey, we look at how to identify counterfeit or altered coins and what security features exist even in older coins to verify authenticity. We provide a step-by-step guide to building a complete Lincoln cent collection, including the tools and resources you will need. We also explore how the Lincoln cent has been used in American culture as a teaching tool, a symbol of thrift, and even in art projects and memorial tributes. We wrap up our exploration by reflecting on the emotional and historical value of the 1961 penny for many viewers, especially those aged 45 and older. This coin represents a time when America felt simpler, safer, and full of possibility. A coin you may have received as a child, tucked into your piggy bank or handed over the counter with a smile. It is more than just copper. It is a memory preserved in metal, a quiet piece of the American story that lives on in collections and conversations. So whether you are a lifelong numismatist or just discovering the magic of coins for the first time, the 1961 Lincoln penny offers a fascinating window into our nation's past and a reminder that even the smallest pieces of change can carry the weight of history. Thank you for joining us here on LC Coins World. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share as we continue to bring you the stories behind the coins that shaped America, the place where history jingles in your pocket, and every coin tells a story. Today, we're traveling back to a pivotal moment in American numismatic history as we dive deep into the rich legacy and collector intrigue surrounding the 1960 Lincoln penny. This 1-cent coin minted in Denver during a time of transition in American life holds much more than its face value. It is a reflection of changing minting technologies, shifts in public demand, and the enduring symbolism of Abraham Lincoln in American culture. The 1960s marked the dawn of a new era in the United States. The country stood on the cusp of technological innovation, space exploration, and civil rights reform. As this wave of progress took hold, the U.S. Mint was grappling with its own evolution, including the modernization of coin production and the growing needs of a booming post-war population. The Lincoln cent itself had already been a staple in American currency since its first issue in 1909, commemorating the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. With a design by Victor David Brenner featuring Lincoln's bust on the obverse, this penny was the first U.S. coin to depict a real historical figure on a circulating denomination, and its legacy carried forward for decades. By 1960, the Lincoln cent had undergone many changes, but still remained a cornerstone of everyday transactions. The version minted that year at the Denver Mint bore the familiar D mint mark and featured the reverse design introduced in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday, which showed the Lincoln Memorial in fine detail, crafted by Frank Gasparo. This design offered Americans a symbolic and architectural homage to Lincoln and was especially admired for the subtle yet artistic rendering of the seated Lincoln statue within the monument. Now, the 1960 Lincoln cent is perhaps best known to collectors for a unique and important distinction. It was one of the few years when two different date sizes were produced within the same year, commonly referred to as the small date and large date varieties. This was not merely a cosmetic difference, but rather a fascinating insight into the minting process, errors, revisions, and production decisions made under real-world pressures. Small date 1960 cents are particularly prized by collectors due to their relative scarcity compared to their large date counterparts. These differences became one of the major talking points for numismatists during the early 1960s and even sparked a miniature treasure hunt for rolls of uncirculated coins. The Denver Mint in 1960 was producing millions of coins to meet national demand. but due to die revisions during the production year, both small and large date coins made their way into circulation. This unexpected development stirred excitement in the collecting community and brought renewed interest to Lincoln cents even among casual coin holders. As dealers began advertising for premium payments on small date coins, the public joined in the search, scouring change. Beyond the variety intrigue, the 1960 Lincoln penny holds additional appeal due to the broader historical and economic context of the time. America in 1960 was a society standing between the nostalgia of the 1950s and the upheaval of the 1960s. It was a year that saw the election of John F. Kennedy, the launch of the first televised presidential debates, and the accelerating race to space. Every object from that era, including a simple penny, carries the imprint of that momentum. When examining a 1960 penny, collectors often look for sharpness in strike color and luster, as well as potential die errors such as doubling die cracks or off-center strikes, which add to the value and uniqueness of each individual coin. Uncirculated examples with strong red color and original mint brilliance are highly desirable, particularly in the small date variant. Grading services like PCGs and NGC have authenticated and slabbed thousands of these coins with top-graded examples, reaching significant prices in auctions and private sales. In numismatic circles, the 1960 penny has become something of a benchmark for entry-level collectors while also maintaining value for more seasoned hobbyists. Its accessibility in circulated condition makes it an easy starting point, yet the existence of valuable varieties and errors offers a level of depth that keeps the hunt interesting for years. Moreover, its educational value cannot be overstated. The 1960 Lincoln penny teaches collectors about mint practices, topography, die variations, and market trends. It demonstrates how small differences in design can lead to significant changes in value, and how public interest can influence the way coins are perceived and collected. So whether you're holding one of these pennies in your hand out of curiosity, or because it's been passed down through generations, this humble 1-cent coin represents a bridge between eras, between routine and rarity, and between the everyday and the exceptional. It is not just a piece of copper, plated zinc, or bronze, depending on its composition, but a piece of living American history captured in metal. Stay with us as we continue to explore every angle of this remarkable coin, from its design specifications to its minting journey and its place in today's collector market. We'll also take a closer look at the small date versus large date varieties, the reasons behind the die changes, and the lasting effect these had on Lincoln cent collecting for decades to come. So buckle in and get ready for an in-depth exploration of the 1960 Lincoln penny here on LC Coins World, where every coin has a voice, and every voice echoes history.